So respond to that, Ashpreet Khadial, that this is a challenge being thrown by the Khalistanis and the ISI at India. It's not about AAP, it's not about Congress, not about the BJP. This is the Khalistani factions versus India, and that's how we must respond rather than try and pin blame on each other.
Definitely, but has Aam Aadmi Party said anything about the statement given by Mr. Pannu? He categorically said that I take responsibility for this act. And he also issued another threat that I'm going to do something of this sort again in Himachal Pradesh. What has the Aam Aadmi Party government done about this? Nothing at all. However,
no, but what can they do? Pannu is sitting in the United States, largely in New York. It's the central government, if at all, that is to put pressure on the government in the United States to try and act against him. How are you expecting Kejriwal to do that?
Right, I'll tell you how. Mr. Mann is the CM of Punjab. He could have a meeting with the Home Minister of India, Mr. Shah. He could at least brief him about these issues. He could tell him that these are the state of affairs in Punjab and people are not feeling safe. They can't get out. And the worst of all, if the quickness that they showed in the case of Kejriwal Saab's defamation, you know, the number of times police went there and how quickly they went to the house of Mr. Bagga, they quickly went to the court. If that kind of quickness had been shown, you know, in these circumstances, we would have been able to avert it. And not just this incident, but so many more incidents would have been averted. But Aam Aadmi Party's priorities are clearly different. And I'll tell you how bad the law and order situation in Punjab is. Because Mr. Mann is in sometimes Delhi and sometimes Himachal Pradesh and Gujarat. The governor of Punjab had to go to 6 border districts to assess, you know, that the amount of drugs coming, drones coming, arms coming, ammunition coming is way too much. Something has to be done about that. And you also said that we bring about a policy named Agnipath in order to help these border districts, which is the job of the government. But since the government isn't doing anything, the governor had to intervene. Now, third, Aam Aadmi Party said that the CM and DGP didn't give any contradictory statement. Mr. Mann said that a person has been arrested. The DGP said no person was arrested at all whatsoever. That was the contradiction there and then. And fourth, Aam Aadmi Party has May I just complete? I just have one more point to make.
Okay, go on quickly, please.
Right. The last thing is that, you know, the peace and, you know, the peace of Punjab is the priority for the people of Punjab. And every time when an incident of this kind happens, Mr. Mann would look at Delhi. The police also understands it and sees it very clearly that he is not the real boss. The super CM of Punjab is Mr. Kejriwal. He is the one who's supposed to give us orders. That's why, you know, it's so tense here, and the police hasn't been able to do its job. They haven't been able to be vigilant on their toes, despite so many incidents being happening. Because
so you made that point. Final words, Ahab Grewal. You know, here's the concern. When Bhagwant Mann took over, people were worried that he's a newbie to governance. He's a great comedian, good orator, but doesn't have the depth of grasp over the administrative machinery. He has to look over his shoulders, see what Kejriwal and Delhi want, and therefore the administration under him isn't being able to respond efficaciously, and that's the problem.
Well, the accusations these accusations come from WhatsApp University. I would not want to answer them. Number one. Number two, more importantly, what is important is just look at the way, the double standards. The Congress says the governor had to go, he had to do. In any other state, they will be screaming from rooftops that this is an affront to federalism. Number three, I would like to reiterate the fact that Mr. Bhagwant Mann has come in with a new whiff of air. All the problems, look, the nexus, the drugs nexus, the gangster nexus is what we have inherited. Yes, there will be a backlash. When a new government comes, there will be a backlash, and we will fight that backlash. We, rest assured, we will not allow these people to spoil the atmosphere in Punjab, and this politico-terrorist narco nexus, which was formed in Punjab, will be broken. We will break their backs. And again and again, I would like to reiterate, any Khalistani, any SJF, any Pannu. First of all, Pannu is a non-entity in Punjab. Nobody cares about him. But if you are throwing a challenge at us, bring it on. We will send you to hell where you belong. That's an assurance from
Ahab Grewal, Ashpreet Khadial, what's happening is deeply disconcerting. In the interest of the nation and in the state of Punjab, it is imperative that the new AAP government try and catch the perpetrators who are trying to destabilize Punjab.